Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today, we're going to be talking about a movie that I didn't know existed, and now I'm very happy that I found it, called This Boy's Life. This Boy's Life came out in 1993, and it stars, Leonardo DiCaprio, which is why I'm watching this film. I am watching this film because somebody requested me that I watch all of the Leonardo DiCaprio films. Okay, it'll take me a while, but I got you. I believe it was Tyler L in the comments. So if you want your review, what you want your movie, whatever movie you want me to watch and review, put it in the comments down below. Send me a message, whatever you got to do, and I will definitely do that. I've got a huge list, and this was next on my list, and wow, am I happy I watched it. Whew! I don't know if I mentioned already, but it came out in 1993, and it was directed by Michael Catton Jones and was written by Robert Getchell. And this is a movie that is based on a true story. I love movies that are based on a true story. I do. I love them a lot. The movie itself was technically um, written based off of a memoir, who was written by um, Toby Wolf, Tobias Wolf, and that's the main character of the movie as well because it's a memoir. So it's about that boy's life. I didn't know what to expect from this movie. I had no idea that it existed. I just went on IMDb and looked at Leonardo DiCaprio and saw that this was the first movie listed, and then I started watching it, and wow, was it good! Mhm. So excited. Okay, I'm going to discuss the plot of the movie first, and then I will tell you my thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts, and then we'll talk about acting, and then we'll be done. It should be pretty short because it's very, very sweaty in here. I'm very warm. It's a very warm day here in Oneonta. Okay, so the basis it surrounds the character Toby, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and essentially he and his mom are travelers. They're looking for a place to find money and finally settle down. They've been traveling for a while, boyfriend to boyfriend for his mom, and she finally finds the guy who she thinks is the one. And this guy is Dwight, and Dwight is an asshole behind Toby's mother, who is Caroline's, back. Um, to her face, he's the perfect boy. He's the golden boy, super nice. And then as soon as he's alone with Toby, ooh, shit goes flying. It's crazy. It boils my blood watching this movie, which is great. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. I loved the feeling. I love getting mad at movies. That's my favorite. I love it when I'm like, I just want to punch this guy in the face, but he's through a screen. This movie made me forget where I was for a long time, which is what you want in a film. Because if you're sitting there and you're very conscious of where you are, then you're not really watching the movie. There are some movies that will really take you out of where you are, and then there are some movies that you'll just sit there and be like, ugh. This movie was definitely one that really put me in the place. It really, you see the film pretty much through the boy's perspective, and you see that Dwight's an asshole, and Toby genuinely wants to be a better person. He's a delinquent, and he gets in trouble at school a lot, and it's a whole big fiasco for him. And he's trying to find a way to kind of be a better person and stop getting in trouble, mainly for his mom because he does love his mom a lot. So he agrees with his mom that he should go live with Dwight, whom he thinks is okay. He doesn't think he's that bad. And then immediately, like in the car on the drive to the different city where Dwight lives, um, he basically just starts, you know, uh, picking on him and tormenting him, bullying him. Really, he's just a bully. And poor Toby is just sitting there in the middle of it, like I don't really know what to do. He can't really do anything. Dwight makes him get a paper route, and he doesn't get any of the money from it. The money goes straight to him, and he spends the money on whatever he wants. He doesn't let him have basketball sneakers, so he only has prep sneakers, like good dress sneakers. And so he makes a fool of himself during basketball, which I'll mention that in a little bit later if I remember. Um, and he makes him join the Boy Scouts and all this stuff, and it's all stuff that he doesn't really want to do, but he understands, it's going to make him a better person. But it doesn't make him a better person. It just makes him more and more like Dwight, and it scares him. In the middle of the movie, it really scares him. He starts to realize that he's turning into Dwight, and he doesn't want to be that way. So he develops a plan on how to get into a good college, and he basically cheats his way into college, sort of, by writing his own papers and falsifying his school records. And eventually he gets to go to college, and he takes his mom, and he tells his mom to get out of there. Um, and then his mom leaves and I think goes to Florida. And Toby goes to school for about half a year before getting expelled. That part is we know the last part there because it's in the memoir. We're just told about what happens at that point. We just see that his mom leaves and he goes to college. Then at the end of the movie, there's like the credit thing that happens during memoirs, um, or movies that don't have a clear ending. But he ends up dropping out. Well, he gets expelled from the college he's going to, but then eventually becomes a literary artist, as we know, because he wrote this memoir, among a lot of other titles and short stories. Um, I knew about the author. I don't know how I didn't know about the movie. I don't know how I didn't know the movie existed. But that's the general premise of the movie. A couple things I want to talk about before we get into the acting. Basketball scene. I did remember. I think that was a little bit of a stray. The movie it clocked in at almost 2 hours long. I think it was like 1 hour and 53 minutes, which is a little long for me. I was okay with the length of the film. I was. I really enjoyed every minute of it. I enjoyed the performance in general. I'm very excited to talk about the acting. Um, I just think that some of the things weren't necessary. Some of the scenes weren't necessary. Some of the side plots were definitely not necessary, but very welcome in my opinion. Particularly the basketball scene. We have like 3 minutes of him playing basketball and falling down, which I really didn't need. It wasn't like super great. It wasn't super bad. It wasn't super exciting. Um, but that was just a small, minor little thing that didn't really bother me too much. I wasn't like turned off by it per se. I really did enjoy the movie as a whole. I do want to talk about the fight choreography because there's definitely some kind of choreography going on here. There isn't a lot, but there's some. Early in the film, there's some fight choreography, and some of it's pretty okay. Some of it's not very okay. This is back before like the punch sound, like the pa sound happened. So we just hear people probably punching bags of ground beef, or turkey or chicken, and then inserting that sound instead of an actual like weird punching sound, which I actually think was okay in this film because it's supposed to be set in the 50s and it felt real to me. It felt like what a real punch would sound like. Um, but the choreography itself was a little bit weird in the beginning of the film. I think there was a little. It wasn't handled too well. But that being said, there were two teenage boys. I don't know how old Leonardo DiCaprio was. He was probably in his late teens, but I feel like he looks pretty young in this film, which also contributes a little bit to a negative in the fact that they time jump like 3 times. So like in the beginning of the end of the film is like 3.5 years later than the beginning of the film, and DiCaprio was not aged at all, which kind of threw me for a loop. But I was able to catch on. I mean, the time they did say the time, which I thought was good, and it was good enough for me to. It kept me going. I understood that it was a different time period. It was just a little confusing for moi, but that's okay. I caught up pretty fast, which is good for me because normally I don't catch on very fast. But this movie caught me on pretty quick. I was pretty happy with that. But the end of the film, there's this really cool fight sequence. I'm not going to tell you between who or whatever happens or whatever. But I just want to say, whoever did the choreography, probably should Google that first. Um, Very well done. Great job on the fight choreography for that last final fight. I really enjoyed it. We have so many fans that I'm assuming in the theaters and even watching at their homes now. This is a great movie to watch while you're home in quarantine. This is a really fun movie for you to watch. I really enjoyed it. And that fight scene was really cool. It really got me going. It woke me up. It's like almost 8 o'clock here, and I have chores to do and stuff before I fall asleep. I'm actually doing really well on homework this week. Mom, if you're watching this, I hope you're proud of me. Um, but I always do fine on homework. I mean, normally I do it like the day before it's due, but like I'm doing things like weeks before they're due. I'm like really getting up there. That just means I can watch more movies for you guys. Um, Without further ado, let's talk about some acting for a couple minutes, and then we will wrap it up. All right. First, Robert De Niro. You heard me right, Robert De Niro as Dwight, the asshole. I haven't seen too much with Robert De Niro. I really haven't. I haven't seen a lot. I couldn't name all the films that I've seen with him in it. I think he was in Joker, but don't. I think he was the old man, the talk show host in that. But honestly, I don't remember. I was too busy watching Joaquin Phoenix. Love that guy. Anyway, Robert De Niro is freaking fantastic in this film. Wow, blew me away. I was like, huh? Who are you? Why are you here? I love you. Um, so good because he's got this like charming like I'm like a good guy, and then like he can be mean real quick. I don't know what kind of movies he normally plays in. I know he's famous, and that's wrong of me for not knowing more about him. I will watch more of him in the future because wow, he was great in this film. But I just want to point out that he did the casting for this was fantastic. I don't know who cast this film either. These are all things I should really know if before I talk about them, but I don't because I finished watching this movie like literally like 10 minutes and 47 seconds ago. And whoever casted this film did a wonderful job. I love that person. I don't even know who it is. I love them. There, it is proclaimed. Do I have a widow speak? That's pretty cool. Sorry. Um, Wonderful job by Robert De Niro. I had so much fun watching him and hating him. I love characters that I can love to hate. Oh, so good. Oh, I love. Oh, really gets me going. I love a good guy you can love to hate, and he is definitely one of them. I hope he has more roles like that for me to watch because I really want more of that. I want more of that. Thank you very much. Ellen Barkin as Caroline, who is Toby's mother, and she did a really great job too. We didn't have a lot of screen time with her. I think the main focus was really on the Dwight Toby dynamic, but we do get a bit of her, particularly in the beginning and the end of the film. And she did a wonderful job. I mean, she has this motherly feel to her, but she's also got this like young, sexy feel to her that like I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting that from a mother. And then she kind of gives up in the beginning of the film. She's like, "I'm done. I'm not gonna find anybody else." And then she just kind of totally gives up. And it was heartbreaking for me to watch. And then in the middle, towards the end of the film, she like freaks out on the boys. She's like, "Listen, you guys need to learn how to get together well because I'm freaking out here." And you felt sorry for her because she's a wonderful woman in this movie. I don't even know what else she's been in. Ellen herself, Barkin herself, um, but really, 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 really wonderful job. Congrats to you, Leonardo DiCaprio. The reason I am watching this film, who played Toby. This is his first ever appearance, and wow, what fantastic, fan freaking tastic. I have not seen a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio. I have only seen, if I'm honest with you guys, Romeo and Juliet, a little bit of Titanic because I keep falling asleep in the middle of it. I need to watch all 4 hours of that thing for you guys. I'm gonna make a day out of it. And I saw What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I actually watched What's Eating Gilbert Grape quite a bit when I was younger. It was one of my favorite movies when I was like 15. It's not that long ago, but it feels like a long time for me. I really did enjoy that film, and that's actually next on my list. So sometime, probably not this week, probably next week, I will be reviewing that. I hope you tune in for that one because that's also a fantastic film. One thing I noticed about DiCaprio in this film, I don't remember his performance necessarily in Gilbert Grape. I think I remember it being similar in this regard, and that is he is very good with his business. And for those of you who don't know what business is, it is when you are given something to play with in the middle of a scene, or something to do in the middle of a scene. Like business could be making a cup of coffee. Business could be writing an essay. Business could be playing with a Rubik's cube. And he is so good at this. Like it, for people who don't look for these things, they may not notice it, but as somebody who loves cinema and film itself and acting itself, this is something that I noticed was that he's so good at fidgeting in a way that like makes sense because there are so many times where you watch a film and they're like, okay, why don't you make a cup of coffee? And it's like the most elaborate thing they've ever done in their life. And like, this is the best cup of coffee ever. Um, DiCaprio does a phenomenal job of just keeping his hands busy while his mind is going, and I'm like it's almost borderline genius in my opinion. It is wonderful to watch. I didn't think that would be something that I paid attention to. I paid attention to that throughout the entire film. I was always paying attention to what's in his hands, What's he playing with? And when he doesn't sing in his hands, he's always like, playing with his thumbs like he would in the movie. And I'm thinking later on, when he's playing characters that are not children, I think he fixes that issue, which is wonderful because, ooh, I almost just broke. Sorry. It's acting. Like, I don't think Leonardo DiCaprio is normally that fidgety in a normal way. Like, it felt so natural. And like normally when you're acting like that, you're acting, and so it doesn't look very normal. This is very natural looking, and it felt natural, and his movements are just so natural. It freaks me out almost. I am so excited to watch more of him because I was blown away by that performance, and I didn't even really talk much about his performance, but it really was astonishing. You felt for him. I love him. I have not seen much of him at all, and I can already tell you he's phenomenal. I'm so excited to watch more of these films. I've got so many to go before I even get to the big ones. I mean, there's just so many movies that I haven't even heard of on this list for Leonardo DiCaprio that I haven't even heard of, and I'm so excited to watch them now because this is fantastic. I hope it keeps it up. I mean, I know that he hasn't won many awards until recently, but he should have won an award for this. I don't think he did, but I think he should have. This movie was fantastic. Props to you. One little quick thing I want to talk about. I wasn't going to mention this, but I thought I should. Jonah Blechman as Arthur, who plays a gay male in this movie. And I really felt his performance. I loved this performance, and it was a performance that didn't even really matter, if I'm honest with you. It was, a very side character that they brought out for a couple scenes that didn't really seem to fit in with the rest of the movie. But I'm wondering if maybe they just casted him to play the background role, and it was so fantastic. They're like, we need more of you. He was really, 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 really good in this film. I just wanted to say that real quick, a quick little shout out, pretty much, to a background character that I noticed and enjoyed. Also, side note, Tobey Maguire is in this movie. I had no idea. I saw him and I was like, is that Tobey Maguire? And it was. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I don't really like Tobey Maguire that much, if I'm being totally honest with you. But it was just surprising to see him there. Anyway, side note. With that said, I'm sorry this is long. I'm going to give this movie an A+. Plus. Straight up. I mean, honestly, if there's any movie you should be watching right now, besides maybe The Devil All the Time, I would recommend this movie. This movie is really, it's a fun movie. It's funny. It's got action. It's got lots of drama. And Leonardo DiCaprio is stunning in this film. I can't believe I haven't seen this movie before. I will be watching this movie again. It's fantastic. So I just wanted to give that a little bit of a shout out to this movie, and you should go watch it somewhere. It's nowhere available. I mean, I rented it on YouTube for like $2, which, in my opinion, was definitely worth it for this film. I almost wish I just spent the $10 to buy it because it's so good. I actually really, really thoroughly enjoy this movie. That does it for me. If you want me to review something, put it in the comments down below, and I'll add it to one of my 6 sticky notes I've got here for movies, and I'll get to it at some point. All right. Make sure you like the video and you subscribe. I need more subscribers. Subscribe. Most of you that are watching this are not subscribed, and it makes me very sad. And I don't want to be a big sad. I want to be a big happy. So hit that button. Hit that subscribe button, and join the Facebook group. Link in the description below. And well, as always, keep watching films, and I'll see you guys in the next video.